Should be live right now on all our platforms. So if you guys are not following us on YouTube or any of the other platforms for that matter, you should definitely follow us. YouTube is probably the one where we post the majority of our stuff. So if you're not following us, just search for Lumi Wealth. Basically, it's the first thing that pops up. We don't really have any competition there. Let me share this link with you guys as well inside the chat. All right, so you guys can see. I see that you guys respond a bunch. Yes, doing great, awesome. Good to hear from all of you guys. Here's a link to our YouTube. If you're not following us yet, make sure you follow the channel because, again, we do post all stuff up. So, and if you're subscribed to us, then you automatically get those notifications whenever we do this or any of our other types of free presentations. All right. So here, if we go in, you'll see under live, we're actually streaming this one live right now. There it is. All right. Cool. All right. So now that that's all said and done, we're all set up. Let's talk about what we're going to be doing for today. So today, this is our agenda. Okay, we're going to be covering the broker that we're going to be using today, which is Alpaca. We use them because they're a fantastic broker. We'll get into that in a second. We're going to use Replit to actually launch our algorithm. We use this. There's other competitors like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, but we use Replit because Replit is very easy to use, very simple to get all set up. Even people that are very good programmers tell me they really like using Replit just because it's so simple to use. But it's one of those things that even if you've never coded before in your life, it's very easy to get up and running. We're going to talk about how to add a strategy. There's 2 strategies that we're going to be talking about today. One of them a crypto strategy, which is what we're going to do. But then there's another one that's a stock-based strategy that I personally use and have made good money with. And actually, this is that strategy. Stock diversified leverage. You can see here it's up 31%. This is with real money. I have about $4,500 in this right now. It's made me over $1,000 in the past year. Right, so 31% in the past year. I think the stock market did something like 15% around that same time period. So we're beating them by quite a nice margin, right? Cool. So we're going to talk about that strategy today, and we're going to talk about another one, the crypto-based strategy. I forget which one it is right now, but we can talk about that in a second. Then we will talk about how to modify parameters. So once you've launched your strategy, you probably want to know how to modify it. A lot of people want to change their strategies. A lot of people want to basically make their strategies custom to them, right? So we'll talk about how to do that. We'll talk about deployment, which basically means it's going to keep running for you, even though you're not in front of your computer or anything like that anymore. And then we'll talk about next steps. If you want to keep going, we have a lot of really good stuff for you through our program, right? Cool. Quick disclaimer before we get started. This is it's dealing with money. Our official position is use this with fake money, but if you want to use it with real money, which a lot of people do, that is up to your own risk, right? Make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into if you're doing that sort of thing. I use real money with all these algorithms. If you go through our trading signals and all that, you can see how that's been performing. And a lot of people within our programs do that as well. But if you are going to do that, make sure that you know a little bit of risk management, you know what you're getting yourself into. And also a bunch of other things here. Past performance is not all the kind of stuff. So check it out. It's typical legal stuff. Cool. Some notes before we get started. The recording of this workshop will be available to members of one of our plans. So if you want to get that recording, it's going to be there. Our starter plan is free to get started and $49 a month afterwards. You get a 2-week trial, right? And then if you want to see our plans, you can go to lumiwealth.com and we'll tell you more about these plans at the end. All right. Okay, cool. So let's start off with the broker, right? So first thing we want to do is set up with the broker so that we can actually create our trading algorithms. We need to trade somewhere, right? So we need to set up with a broker, okay? We're going to be using Alpaca. You probably haven't heard of this broker unless you're someone who does algorithmic trading. That's because that's specifically what they're made to do. They are kind of like Robinhood, but specifically for algorithms, right? I say that because Robinhood is free trading. Alpaca, also free trading, right? Why do we want to use them? Because they're free. That's amazing, right? They also have really good execution. They're very easy to use in terms of using algorithms and things like that. They're a broker basically built exactly for what we want to use them for. Okay. They're quite large. They're international as well. There's a bunch of really good things about them. Right? Cool. Based out of Silicon Valley, if you're wondering where they're based out of. So they're legal. They have all their accreditations and everything. All right. So we're not dealing with some international brokers or anything like that. Okay, cool. So first things first, you want to make an account with Alpaca. Right. So here is the URL to do that. It is not alpaca.com. There's a lot of other alpacas out there. So they chose to do alpaca.markets. A lot of people get that wrong. So make sure you go to www.alpaca.markets. This is what it should look like, the web page. Okay. So once you get to this page, basically there's a bunch of buttons around here. Sign up for free, sign up. You want to hit one of those buttons. I'm going to do it with you guys, right? So when you go through, you can fill in the form, right? I am going to fill this in right now. Fill it in to the best of your abilities, of course. If you're going to do stock trading, I believe you have to be in the US, although I have been hearing from people that they're available in Australia and a few other things, Singapore. Some people have been telling me that they're available all around the world these days. Go figure, they're growing quite a bit. Let me also create an email here. Actually, I'm going to use my password manager to do this. So I'm going to create a new one. We're going to, there's a little trick that I use here. If you guys have never seen this, it's basically a way that I could use my same email address to create a ton of different accounts with one broker. So my regular email is rob@lumiwealth.com. But what I can do is I can add in a little plus here and go plus webinar, let's say July 24, right? We'll call that my login. Okay. And then I'm going to create a password, right? And then we'll save that. I don't know why it's not letting me edit this. There we go. That was weird. Okay. I'm going to fill this in. Copy that over. Webinar July 24. All right. So I'm going to sign up. Okay. Save this password. Once you've done that sign up, you are going to get an email. So I'm going to go on my phone here and accept that. You have to verify your account. So I'm going to confirm my account right here. There we go. And then now that it's confirmed, I could actually log in with that account. Right. So webinar July. And then I log in. Okay. That is all you need to create an account. When you log in, and it seems like they've changed that, they would sometime, actually they tell you that this is, we need to actually do this now. We need to also do our two-factor authentication now. This is a new thing with them. So I'm going to add that in as well. We'll go like this, we'll edit, we'll add in two-factor auth. Why is that not showing up here? I'm going to do this on my phone as well. Hey, if you guys have never done two-factor authentication, you could use your phone number too, right? If you want to send an SMS code, you probably have gotten used to this with a bunch of other services. If you want to do that, you can just use your phone. The more secure version is to use an authenticator. There's a bunch of different apps and things that do this. Google Authenticator and Authy and Microsoft, Google, Facebook, they all have it, right? Here I use a password manager personally, so I'm going to throw it in there. I'm going to scan the QR code. And then I got my code here, which is 87668. 85. And I'm going to activate my account. There we go. Okay, and once you've done that, we're all good to go. We've created a new account. Now, once you've done this, they're going to show you a page that looks like this. Do you want to create an account, individual or entity? Please listen to me when I say this. Do not click on this right now. Right now, if you click on this, you're going to go down a rabbit hole. You're going to miss the entire thing that we're doing. Please do not click on this right now. Instead of clicking on individual or entity, do not click on either one of these and instead go to home. Okay. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing paper trading. We're not going to be using live money right now. If you want to use live money, you would go through this and you'd fill in their application. This application will take some time. You will miss what we're doing right now if you go through this. So let's skip over this. And instead, we're going to click on home because we're going to do paper trading instead of live money trading. Okay. Let's click on this here. We're going to click on home. Okay. And when I do that, you should see something like this. Okay. You'll see that you start off with $100,000 fake money. And then we have a bunch of other things here. We could place trades and all that kind of stuff, right? Pretty simple. Basic broker interface. Again, these guys are really made for more API trading than doing some crazy stuff like Thinkorswim. So that's what we have here. All right. Once you've gone to this page, you are done with setting up this broker for now. Okay, so again, we go through the steps, go to Alpaca Markets, fill in the form, log in, and then click on home in the top left-hand corner. Do not actually create an account with them. We're going to be paper trading with them. Okay. Okay. One more step, actually, let's do this before we jump to the next one, is we want to get an API key. Now, if you scroll down, there's a section here called API keys. On my computer, it's on the right-hand side. If you have a smaller screen, it's going to be down further at the bottom. Either way, look for a space like this that says API keys, and we want to go there, right? We want to hit generate new keys, and then you're going to get a key and a secret, okay? If you have already done this in the past, you might have to regenerate in order to get your secret again, all right? Once you've gone past this, once you refresh the page, the secret disappears. You don't see it again, okay? You'll have to regenerate. But the first time around, we get our key and we get our secret. And this is something that we want to leave here for now. We'll return back to this in the next step. Sorry, Monica, I'm going to mute you here because you're speaking. I'm not sure what language. Cool. Okay, awesome. So we have our API keys. We have our secret. We have our brokerage account. Anyone stuck here? I'm going to take a quick pause here. And just a show of hands, who has gotten to this point so far? You can type into the chat. If you guys are on YouTube or anywhere else, you can send a message there as well. Just let me know how if you guys have gotten this far yet. Okay. Okay. Verification isn't coming through either for me, either for the phone nor the QR code. Usually QR code is more reliable. What app are you using, Zarif? Are you using Google Authenticator? What are you doing? Basically, you need to scan that QR code and then hit next and then fill in that code. SMS sometimes doesn't work. That makes sense, especially if you're international or something like that. Okay, so you're using Microsoft Authenticator. What I would do is maybe refresh the page and try it again, right? Maybe something got messed up. I would just refresh the page and then go through that process all over again. All right, so you have Microsoft Authenticator. So it sounds like you've done this before. Done. Okay, cool. We got a couple of dones here. The authenticator should work. I can understand if SMS doesn't work. SMS sometimes has problems, especially if you have like international number or a VoIP number or something like that. Sometimes the text messages don't go through. But the authenticator shouldn't be an issue. Those are usually much more reliable. And if you're having problems with that, I would just refresh it and just start from the beginning again, right? And let me know. Not like start the whole account, but I mean like the authentication process. Let me know, Zarif, if you're still stuck there. We could do a screen share if we need to. Okay, but I got a couple dones here. Anyone else that has gotten this far? Anyone else that's stuck? If you guys are having any problems, let me know. Is why we do this live, right? So you guys can ask questions. So if you do have those questions, let me know. Okay. All right. So this sounds good then. Let's move on to the next step. Okay. So now once you've done that, and I hope you guys are following along because this is meant to be a hands-on webinar here. Let's go to the next step. So next step we want to do is we want to go into Replit. Okay. Now, what is Replit? So Replit is this. If you go replit.com, Replit, it comes from a programming term for Python. Basically, it's a way that you can host applications online, right? So you could host code. You could put code online and have it code run for you, right? It's taking a little while to load here right now. Sometimes it does that when they have updates, so we'll give that a second. But basically, what you want to do is you want to go to replit.com, click the sign up button, and basically just create an account, right? In order for you to host an algorithm with them, you will have to get their paid plan. It is $20 a month, okay? You can still test it without that, right? There's nothing wrong with you being able to test it. You could still run your algorithm and whatever, but if you want to have something that runs 24/7 for you in the cloud, you will have to pay them for that because you are using some of their servers, right? This is taking way too long. Let me try this again. Replit.com. Sometimes this happens with their website. It can take a little bit of time. Are you guys able to get to the website? Anyone? Are you guys able to go to replit.com and create an account? Yes. So Philippe, you're able to get in. Awesome. Sarah is all good. Very cool. All right. For some reason, it's taking forever for me. It is like an internet outage or something. This is taking very, very long. This has happened to me in the past. I don't know why this is ridiculously long loading here. Replit.com. Okay. Well, if you are there, right, which obviously I'm not able to get to it for some reason right now. Once you're there, go in, create an account. There's big buttons. Just click create, fill in your email address and all that, and you're good to go. That's all you have to do on Replit for now. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. You could use your email, you could do a Google login, all that kind of stuff. All right. And once you've logged in, yeah, deleting cookies. Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should delete my cookies. I hate deleting my cookies though, because it logs me. Actually, I can't do that. I'm gonna actually no. You know what? Let me see if I can do that for this website. I don't like deleting my cookies because it logs me out of a bunch of stuff, and especially right now, I'm sharing some things. But let's see if I can delete specifically Replit cookies. Delete browsing data. Yeah, I can't do that because maybe what I'll do is I'll go incognito mode. There you go. Okay. So incognito worked for me. Okay. So if you guys ever have a problem, incognito mode with them. So this is what replit.com looks like, right? Basically, you'll click on sign up for free, fill in your stuff, Google login, whatever you need to do, and there we go. Okay, so let me log in here. I'm going to log in with Google, right? We're going to do this with my personal account first so you guys can see kind of what that looks like. Here it is, replit.com. Once you've logged in and you're all set up, this is what it is, and you're all good to go. All right. Okay, cool, perfect. Oh, and there you go. Now it loaded for me. This is actually good though, because I have two accounts with them. I want to show you guys a paid version and a non-paid version. So I want to walk you through both of them. So this actually works out well. Okay, cool. So once you've signed up and you're good to go, you should see something like this, your dashboard. If you don't see this, that's okay. As long as you have that account, that's fine. All right. Okay. Anyone have problems with that? Anyone got stuck there? Unlike me, it seems like you guys all got through that pretty easily. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So next step is going to be adding a strategy. All right. So now we want to add in a strategy. This is the fun part, right? Now we actually get to have some stuff working for us. Okay. We have two strategies here. They're both fairly simple strategies. Don't be deceived by how simple they are. They are quite performant. Again, this diversified leverage strategy, I have some amount of money in this. It's been doing quite well for me. I actually want to put more money into this. It's been doing so well. I feel like I should increase the amount I have in here. For me, it's a pretty small account. 4,000. It's about $4,600. Again, we're up about $1,000, $1,100 since we started this on June 21st, 2023. It's been a little over a year, and we're up 31%. Right. So simple algorithm. It's not like we have other algorithms that have these crazy returns 100% a year or more. This one's a little bit more tame. I think when we back test it, we get something like 20 to 25% a year, which is still double the stock market, if not more. And when you actually, let me show you. Instead of talking about it, let me show you what this looks like. This is our strategy library. If you sign up to one of our programs, you'll get access to this. Our starter plan, you get, I think, 2 of them. And then in our pro plan and all access plans, you get all of them. So we have quite a few. This is what this diversified leverage strategy looks like when we back test it. Oh, it's even better than I thought. 29% a year, average annual return since 2010 is that back test, right? It did have a bit of a drawdown here, 55%. So it is a bit more risky than the stock market. So keep that in mind. But it does have a very nice performance. If you look here, the blue is the stock, or our strategy is in the blue. And then in yellow is the S&P 500. We absolutely demolished them, right? So where the S&P 500 over this time period did 552% since 2010, we are up 3,990%, right? So quite a large difference in terms of performance here, all right? So what is that? Over this time period, that's what, 14 years, it's 4 times more money? No, 500 to 40 to 4,000. Yeah, it's 8 times more money. Quite a big difference, right? You can see why I have my money in this, right? We do have a bunch of other strategies too. I'll talk more about this later, but for example, we have our Condor Martingale strategy. This is one that we've been working on a lot lately, 144% a year. With one configuration, there are others that actually have made quite a bit more than that. One configuration actually makes like 1,000% a year. It's kind of crazy. Historically, right, has made that much, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen in the future, but if it does continue 1,000% a year, I'd say that's pretty damn good. We do have a bunch of these other strategies, but today we're working on one of the more simple ones, diversified leverage, or we have the custom ETF, which we're going to work on right now because the stock market is closed right now. And so that you guys can actually see this thing working, we will be using a crypto strategy. Okay. So that's what the two are here. We have a crypto custom ETF. We have a diversified leverage. Okay, crypto custom ETF trades crypto. Diversified leverage trades stocks. All right. So there's a question here. Sarah says, question, can a live account with Alpaca be under the deployment of multiple strategies, or are there one-to-one constraints? We typically want to do one account for one strategy. And the reason why is because you get a lot of conflicts. If you're trying to run 5 strategies on one account, they're going to confuse themselves, right? And this gets very, very complicated in the long run, because not only do you have to monitor, okay, well, who owns what and how much, right? But then there's decisions that could be completely opposite to each other. So whenever we run strategies, one account, one strategy. That's it. We do not mix them. Okay. That's to keep it safe, reduce the amount of bugs. If you really want to force it, you could, but it's not something that I recommend doing. If you really want to, you could. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. So we got our two strategies. Okay. There are links here to Replit that we can actually use to run them. Really quick overview: crypto custom ETF basically buys a bunch of crypto coins in a fixed percentage, and if they go out of whack, it will correct that. So let's say I think this does 30% Ethereum, 30% Bitcoin, and 30% Litecoin. I'll show you how to change that if you want to. So here is, let me open this up like this in the incognito browser. Let me see, for those of you that are in YouTube, I'm going to add this to the chat here so you guys can follow along as well. Okay, well, basically here's that crypto custom ETF, right? You could see here it buys Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, and then 31% each. We'll talk about specifically how that works a little later. But basically, once you get to this point, all you need to do is you click on that link, crypto custom ETF, or if you want to do the diversified leverage, you can do that too. We'll come back and we'll talk about that a bit later. But crypto custom ETF, if you want to see results right now, that'll work because the crypto markets are open. But if you, again, I actually really like the strategy personally a lot. We spent a lot of time developing this, and I want to put more money into it. The diversified leverage is one of my favorites. But either way, whichever one you choose, you're going to come to this once you click on the link, and you're going to see this use template button, right? You want to click that use template, right? Maybe give it a nice heart as well, so we get the points from it from Replit, because they like it when we get the hearts. But basically, you got to hit this use template button right here. Okay, so hit use template. You could rename it if you want. You don't need to. And then hit use template. Okay, it will by default be public. Okay, unless you pay them to make it private. Okay. Now, why would you want to make it private? Well, because it's money, and you want to make sure that people don't see what you're doing with your money, especially if you're doing anything interesting, and there's security concerns there too. So you definitely should upgrade it, right? You don't have to, especially here since we're using paper trading. But if you're going to be using live money, I would very strongly suggest that you upgrade it. And if you're going to be deploying, you're going to have to anyways, right? Okay, so here we go. There's our template. I'll leave the name as is and then hit use template. Okay, so hit use template in the top right hand corner and then use template again. All right, so there we go. Here is our strategy. All right, now that we are in here, we are almost completely finished with doing this, right? All we need to do now is we need to put in our secrets. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go to under tools, left hand side, bottom left, go to secrets, and you'll see here that we already have two secrets for you to fill in, right? Basically, we have our API key, our Alpaca API key, and our Alpaca API secret. Okay, those should sound familiar because we did that in a prior step. If you go back to here and you go into your Alpaca again, you go back to the API key section, you should still see your key and your secret, assuming you didn't close the browser. If you did close it, when you come back into this, you might have to regenerate your key. You might have to hit regenerate so that you get your secret showing up again, right? Okay, so now we have our key. I'm going to copy that over into this spot where it says Alpaca API key. That's my value, right? So Alpaca API key, put your API key. And then secret, I'm going to copy. And where it says Alpaca API secret, I'm going to put it in there, right? Both inside the values, okay? So this is what yours should look like, okay? Alpaca API secret and my secret, which is the longer one. And then Alpaca API key, and then the value is the actual key itself, which is the shorter one, okay? And once you've done that, and this is important, a lot of people forget this, hit add secret for both of them, okay? You have to click here, add secret, and then click here, add secret. You wouldn't believe how many times people did not click that button, and it wasn't working for them. It's just like, oh yeah, you just got to click that, right? So make sure you're not one of those people. Click that button, and you can do that, okay? All right, so once we've done this, we're pretty much all good to go, right? All we got to do is hit run. All right, so I'm going to hit run, and we will see this thing actually start going for us. Now, when we hit run, okay, I'm going to go back to here. We'll see this configure secrets. We talked about copying it over. We hit run strategy, right? Success, you'll see a bunch of green messages like this. And then also we want to go over to our broker, because we will see when this thing is all good to go, it will actually start buying things for us. And this is the magic of it, right? So get ready for that wow moment of when we actually have these things actually trading for you, right? So we hit run, give it a little bit of time. It takes about a minute or two to get started. It's going, you can see it got the prices, right? It tells you basically everything that it's doing. And then when the trades happen, you'll see it in green right here. Perfect. Market order of X amount of Bitcoin, market order of this much Ethereum, market order of this much Litecoin. And now when I'm in my broker, I can see now it bought all those positions, right? I didn't click anything. I didn't buy anything manually. This is all automatic using this algorithm trading for you, right? Cool. So now we have a strategy called custom ETF that is going to be running for us on, or at least for now, it's going to run for now. We'll talk about how to make sure this thing stays running for you. Yeah. But you can see here, Litecoin, I own about 31,000 of it. Bitcoin, I own about 30,000 of it. Ethereum, I own about 31,000 of it. So about a third each for each one of these coins. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop here, right? And you guys let me know, is this working for you? Who has gone to this point, and are you guys stuck anywhere? While you guys do, let me know. I'm going to get something here. It's my AC is blasting in the house. Stuck with secret setup. How are you stuck, Philippe? Let me know, what is the issue you're having? The secrets is probably the most complicated thing in this entire thing that we're doing. So not surprised you're stuck with secrets. So let me know, Philippe, what exactly are you stuck with? And if you want, you could actually share your screen and we can go through it with you if you want. That way some other people can see what it looks like as well, right? Just in case someone else is having the same issue. So let me know if you want to share your screen, feel free to do that. If you don't want to share your screen, that's fine too, but just let me know what issue you're having, Philippe. You think you entered the wrong key?
Yeah, I think I entered the wrong key. I'm going to try again.
Okay. All right. When you enter them, just keep in mind that they're flipped, right? So I actually noticed that when I was putting it in, here the key was at the top, here is at the bottom, right? So maybe that messed it up. Some people also mess it up. They'll put in sometimes a space or something like that. It's very, very sensitive. You can't have any extra spaces or anything like that. And if you messed it up, you can click here and hit edit, okay? You could edit them and you could change them. You could actually view them, see what you have in here, right? And that's the easiest way to fix it, right? You don't have to start all over again. You can just hit edit and you can fix them up, right? So if you're looking at them here, you can see what they look like, right? The secret should be the longer value. The key should be the shorter value. Make sure that you don't have any spaces afterwards. Like some people do this sort of thing. Make sure there are no spaces, delete that, right? You make sure that they match up identically, right? And then also make sure that you add secret or update secret, right? Okay, secret was truncated, works now. Perfect, awesome. Okay. When running the program, the only changes I see in Alpaca are Litecoin and Ethereum. You don't see Bitcoin. That is interesting. Okay, I've never heard someone say that before. Do you have any red messages in your console? Is it all green, or do you have any red messages? So maybe what it is, maybe if so, and you have all green and it says Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, it will even say here filled, right? Filled Bitcoin. Do you see this filled Bitcoin? If you do see filled Bitcoin as a green message, then probably it's just that you need to refresh the page in Alpaca, right? So you might need to give it a nice little refresh, and you might see it there, because sometimes it doesn't update fully, right? So let me know if that's the case. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else stuck? And how are the rest of you guys all doing? Okay. Well, congratulations, guys. You guys got your first algorithm up and running. So absolutely fantastic. Give yourself a nice pat on the back. You got that milestone accomplished. All right. So next step, we see the success. And John, let me know how that goes when you hit refresh, and let me know if that worked for you. If it didn't, we can investigate that. All right. Again, here, green messages, you check Alpaca, you should see that ownership there. And then if you have an error, sometimes people get an error like this. If you get a 403 client error, or if it says message forbidden, this is how you know you got your API keys wrong. Okay. So if you do see messages like this, 403 client error or message forbidden or anything along those lines, that means you put your API keys incorrectly. So you'll need to fix your API keys. Right. Okay, cool. So next step, right? Next step we want to do is, let's say you want to modify this, right? Let's say I'm going to this and I don't want to own this much Bitcoin. Maybe I want to own something else. There's a list of coins that Alpaca can trade. We could actually even trade with other brokers as well. If you want to trade with like Coinbase, or you want to trade with KuCoin or Kraken or Binance, you could use any one of those as well. That's a separate thing. We're not going to talk about that today. But if you want to do that, that's definitely possible. It's actually quite easy, but we're not going to get into that. There are certain coins that we could trade with Alpaca. So I'm going to stick with these three. But let's say you want to change your weights, right? Let's say I'm really bullish on Ethereum, right? It just came out. They just came out with a brand new ETF, and I really want to use that, right? So let's say I'm going to change this up. I'm going to put 50% Ethereum. I'm going to go 23% Bitcoin, 23% Litecoin. Notice I'm not doing 25 and 25. When it comes to Alpaca, you need to have a little bit of a buffer, right? Because they're placing market orders. You can get around that, but just so you know, if you're ever trying to play around with that, it doesn't actually equal 100%. We want to equal something like 98%. There's ways to fix that if you want to fix that. But either way here, so let's say I want the majority of my money to Ethereum instead of Bitcoin and Litecoin. So when I hit stop, I'm going to run it again with these changes, right? Where I just change the weights. I could also change the asset too, by the way. I could change this to be, instead of Bitcoin, that could be a different coin, right? Instead of Ethereum, I could be something else, etc. But let's say these are the coins I want to use. I'm going to hit run again. Once I've stopped it, I hit run again. And you'll see that this is going to update my broker. We'll just wait for this thing to change. We'll give it a few seconds here. All right, it's running. And we'll see that these market values update, right? We want to watch these here. We'll see that these market values update. It's going to change the quantity. It's going to automatically buy and sell and change what we own, right? It's smart enough to know and say, okay, well, if I want 50%, how much of my account is that? It's going to sell the other ones that we don't need to have and automatically bring you to that percentage, right? Deceptively simple strategy. It is actually one of the most, if you talk to any investment manager across the world, this is kind of the main thing that they do to manage their money. So we're basically replacing what the investment advisors typically do. This is usually just what they just do this, right? So we're waiting here. Okay, place those trades, and there we go. Now we got the update. Now we see Ethereum is 50,000, and we have 23,000 in Litecoin and 23,000 in Bitcoin. All right. So if you want to change that, you're going to be in this parameters section right up at the top. You're going to look for parameters. You're going to see your portfolio, and you edit that inside this file. If you can't find this main.py file, it's going to be under files on the left-hand side, main.py, and then it's going to be right near the top, your parameters, and you can change the weight for each of them, and you can change the symbol for each of them as well, right? So quite simple. We've made this quite easy to use, right? So even though it is code, you don't have to be a coder to be able to do any of this kind of stuff, right? Okay, awesome. So any questions around that? that's a bit more of an open-ended type thing. Any questions around that? Were you guys able to make those changes? Let me know. I have some pecans while I wait for you guys to respond. All good? Okay. Cool. So now that we've talked about that, now what we want to do is we want to do a deployment. Okay. If you guys want to actually deploy this algorithm, and let's back up. John says you couldn't. What problem do you have, John? By the way, you said you couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? While you respond, John, let me talk about deployment. So what is deployment? First of all, deployment basically means that we set this thing up to run for you 24/7. Right now, we have this thing running. Okay? If I hit stop, it stops. However, if I walk away from my computer, okay, let's say I want to go on vacation, right? I'm planning a trip to Europe. Okay. If I go out, come back in a couple of days, this thing will have stopped. It is not made to run forever. Okay. That is what a deployment is for. A deployment is meant for this thing to keep running for you 24/7, no matter what. These guys have an incredible uptime. They have like data centers out there. I think they work with Google Cloud. So they have these massive data centers where they have like backup power generators. Like if a nuclear war happened, they'll probably still be fine. Your algorithm will probably still be running even in the middle of something like that. Highly, highly reliable. And that's basically what we want to have with these types of algorithms, right? We're dealing with money, so we want something that's very reliable. Okay. And importantly, we want to keep running for us because it's not enough for just to run once. We want this thing to keep check in tomorrow, day after that, and make any adjustments that it needs to make, right? So to do that, we hit deploy, or we need to do a deployment. Okay, so I'm going to stop this here. And there's a deploy button in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. And when you hit deploy, you're going to notice, first of all, you have different things to choose from. Okay, we're going to use reserved VM. We don't want to do auto scale because we're not doing some sort of crazy website that needs to be huge. This is going to be way too expensive. It's not set up to work that way. It's not a static website, and it's also not scheduled. I've had people look at this before and say, oh, what if I just schedule it? That's not going to work for you either. The way that this code is set up to work is to use a reserved VM, right? So we want to use that. And when you click on that and then you hit next, in this case, I do not have a paid account here. So if I click on this, it's going to tell me to upgrade. I'm going to have to fill in my credit card. If you do the annual plan, it's cheaper. It's like $10 a month. If you choose to pay monthly, they've actually decreased their cost of their plan. That's interesting. It's down to $8. It used to be $20 a month. Now it's only $18. That's interesting. Either way, you need to fill in your credit card, save your payment method, and then you do it that way. Okay. So I'm not going to do that because I already have a paid account. So let me show you in my paid account. I'm going to go into here, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run this from our strategy library. Okay. So I'm going to go into our strategy library. This is if you are a paying customer, you'll be able to use this here. I'll go into the strategy, same strategy. I hit run on Replit. Okay, and it loads into Replit. Oh, excuse me. This pecan got the back of my throat. We'll load this into Replit. Again, taking forever to load. All right, wait for this thing to finish loading. While this is loading, let me, this is usually very quick. It actually takes faster to set it up than the length of time this is taking. Sarah said, okay, so I have a question here. Sarah says, could you talk a little bit about how the rebalancing frequency was determined to be 10 days in this particular strategy? So this is this using a 10-day rebalancing period? This is using a 10-day rebalancing period. You're correct about that. I believe the way that was determined was we just back tested it a lot. If you get our strategy library, though, there's a newer version of this code where we do not use a rebalancing period. We use a threshold. Okay. This is the newer version of this code. This comes with one of paid memberships, and we use a drift threshold. Okay, so drift threshold of 26%, meaning that if things go out of whack, actually, sorry, this is not the right strategy. Yeah, I'm thinking about the diversified leverage. Sorry. Yeah, so for this particular strategy, it was just back testing, and that's just what ended up being a good period. To be honest with you, not super scientific. If you back test this, you could probably find a better balancing period than 10 days. And actually, what's better is to use something like a drift threshold, right? And if you use a drift threshold, basically what that means is we have all these percentages here. And if we use a drift threshold of 26%, it means that, let's say we had a third, or let's say 50-50, right? Just to keep the numbers easy. Hey, sorry. So 50-50, let's say if you drift by 26%, so let's say 50-50 goes to 25-75, that's considered a 50% drift, right? Because the first one should be 50 and it's 25% drift there. The other one is 50 or 75 and it should be 50, so it's a 25% drift there. So total 50% drift, that would trigger a rebalance. Right. This drift threshold tends to be a better way to rebalance, and we've back tested this a lot. The reason why it's a better way to rebalance instead of the typical way, which is just time based, is because you really just want to rebalance when things go crazy, right? When, like, for example, when the stock market falls, that's a good time to buy more, right? Or if bonds fall, it's a good time to buy more, right? So it's automatically picking the right times to rebalance. Right, so drift threshold is the ideal way to do it. If you sign up to our paid programs, we actually have that as the code base instead. Right. We have another question here. What's a rebalance? What other strategies do you guys have? We have a lot of other strategies. To name a couple, we have over 100 strategies. So I'm not going to go through all of our different strategies. Some of our more interesting strategies. Our Condor Martingale strategy, this one's really interesting. This particular setup does 144% a year. It trades iron condors using stock options, right? So it's a stock option strategy that trades iron condors. There's different configurations of this one. We have 14 different configurations of this one, everything ranging from very low risk and easy kind of stuff up to 1,000% a year. Taking a bit of risk, taking it to 1,000% a year, but making quite a bit of money in the process. We have other strategies here that do spreads, right? It trades option spreads, right? This one has doesn't have the back test here, but performs quite well as well. I think when we back test is over 100% a year. We have grid bots. We have a rolling call strategy. This one basically trades, again, option. We have a lot of option strategies. This is our rolling call, 62% a year. Historically speaking, we have a lot of stuff. We have a crypto Bollinger Band strategy, right? This one trades Bitcoin. Historically, it's done 73% a year, right? So we have quite a few different types of strategies available. If you join our paid program, we have a whole library of this stuff. So there's a lot of different things depending on kind of your view of the world and what you're looking for. Hopefully that explains that. Right. Also, what's a rebalance? A rebalance. This is a simple strategy. All it does is, 25% of your account owns it, so automatically buys that percent of your account. And a rebalance means brings it back to that 25%. That's what a rebalance is. Okay. John says, can't make a change to see Bitcoin on Alpaca. What do you mean you can't change to see Bitcoin Alpaca? Do you mean that it still hasn't traded it?
Can you hear me, Robert?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, I do it, Robert. I'm sorry. I was caught up in something. So yes, when I run the program on Replit, I still see only LTC and Ether on Alpaca.
Yeah. So can you share your screen?
Right now I'm on with you on the phone. How would I share the screen?
You would have to be on Zoom on your computer.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to. I think I may have to leave here.
Well, you could join both. Like you can be in two sessions at once. So you could be on your phone and on your computer. So you don't have to leave, right? But did you try refreshing the page?
I did. Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you looked at your screen here, you had all green. And did it say filled transaction Bitcoin?
No, it doesn't say anything.
It didn't say Bitcoin. Have you tried stopping and starting the algorithm again?
I have. Yes, sir.
Okay. And it doesn't say anything about Bitcoin, that it's trading it and that it filled it. You should see 3 green messages, right? Market order of this for Bitcoin, for Litecoin, and then for Ethereum, right? This one actually, yeah, there's my Ethereum, right? So you should see 3 different ones, right? If something happened, it would say that it's red, right? Which usually it shouldn't happen. It'd be very odd if that happened with you. But if something went wrong, it would have a red message saying, failed to place an order or something like that. But in either case, it'd be a lot easier if I could see your screen to see exactly what happened there.
Letting me launch Zoom right now
Okay.
in the computer.
I mean, you could, on your phone, you can show me your screen too. That should be fine. All right, let me
Are you seeing anything? Because I don't see the screen.
I can see it. It's a little far away. I'm trying to make this bigger. Let me stop sharing so that I can see your screen better. Okay, there we go. So let's go over to your alpaca really quickly. So Litecoin, it did it twice, and there's no Ethereum. And if you hit refresh here.
Yes, refresh.
Okay, and then for some reason you only have $295 in your account. That might be why.
Well, I wanted to be more realistic with what I wanted to start with.
Okay, that might be why, because there's a limit to how small of amount you can buy. So
okay,
that's probably why. So if you reset your account to be at least a couple $100, right? Then you'll probably be able to get it, because chances are that, because there's a limit of how small of an amount of Bitcoin you can buy on Alpaca, right?
Okay.
And that's probably what's constraining you. All right. So if you set it to like $500, it'll probably work, right?
Okay, I kind of forgot how did I do that?
It's I think under reset account. You'll have to hit reset, and then you fill in a different value in there. It's next to and under your portfolio, and then 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, and then reset to the right. To the right hand side. You're on the wrong spot.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right there. Up a bit.
And I just
to the right. To the right. Up. Left now. Your mouse was right at it before. No, it's right up at the top. Right up at the top.
Open account?
No,
this is
to the left.
I'm so sorry.
No problem.
To the left.
And down. And to the right. No, too far down. Now just go straight up, right there, right where your cursor is.
Reset account. I was looking for portfolio.
Yeah, no, reset
okay,
account.
Got it.
Yeah, set an amount that's bigger, like $500 or 1,000, and then it should be fine. Right.
Okay.
Okay, cool, awesome. All right, I'm going to share my screen again here. Okay, cool, awesome.
I'm going to run it again.
Yep, and then when you reset your account, you have to use your API keys again. You have to put your API keys all over because it changes your API keys.
Okay. I'm going to try that, Ryan.
Okay, so let me know how that goes. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so we were talking about deployment, and this thing took forever to load. So let me go into here again. We'll load secrets. I'll show you what a deployment looks like if we were to deploy an algorithm that we actually want to run from our strategy library. And basically, what that would look like on a paid account. All right, so I'm going to show you what that looks like. I'm going to copy over my API keys. I'm going to regenerate them. It's my key. It's my secret. Okay, here's Alpaca API key. And then I'm going to put in my Alpaca API secret. This is how easy it is to run a new algorithm, by the way. All I have to do is put in these two things and then hit run, right? So we hit this run. That's all good to go. Now, once we've done this, if you want to deploy to make sure this thing stays, so that, again, when you run this thing and you walk away from your computer, it will eventually stop, okay? It's not going to keep running for you long term, okay? So we want to hit deploy, okay? We'll hit this deploy button here. And when you have a paid account, you can pick reserved VM, okay? Again, we pick reserved VM, virtual machine. And we'll click set up your deployment. When you go to this part, this is the main thing you got to change here. Machine configuration, I'll usually make this a little smaller. Normally it's half of a CPU, half of a computer, and 2 gigabytes of RAM. We don't need that much. We can go down to a quarter of a CPU. Notice that changes the price down to $6 a month, or $6 a month. So it's a lot cheaper, right? Literally half the price from the default, right? Default is $12. I could reduce it down to $6.40. Okay. And then at the bottom here, and this is the very important part, is instead of web server, you want it to be a background worker. So your app type needs to be background worker. And you want to set your machine configuration to be a quarter of a CPU instead of half, so that it's cheaper for you when you want to run this thing. Okay. So we have this thing going. Once we're all done there, we hit deploy, and that should be it. And we're all good to go. Okay. And this thing will deploy, and it will stay running for you even when you leave, even when you shut down your computer. If you go to another country and come back in 3 months, this thing will still be operating for you and still be running for you. Okay, that's what this deployment does, right? And again, the steps through this, we want to pick reserved VM. We want to set up a 0.25 CPU. We want to choose background worker, and then we deploy our project. Okay. Once that's all said and done, you'll be able to go into logs and you'll be able to see basically the same thing that you saw in console. Place trades, it'll tell you exactly what this thing is doing. Right? In this case, it's going through this 4-step process. And then after that, we go into logs and we can see everything there. All right.
Okay, Robert, I did change the key in the secret, but I don't see any changes right now on Alpaca. It's blank, basically.
The
program is not running on Alpaca.
So you change the key, you change the secret, and then you hit run in Replit?
Yes, sir.
And it takes a while. Have you seen the green messages yet?
Yes, I have.
Do you want to
and which part? And the main PI or the other side?
In the console. You should
be console.
Yeah. So like this right here.
Yeah. Okay, still running.
Okay. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time before it gets to that.
Okay.
Right. If you see these green messages, you're good to go. It'll take a second to show up in Alpaca. If you see a bunch of red messages or a bunch of errors or something like that, there's a 403 error specifically. That means that your API keys are wrong. So if that happens, then that's an issue, right? That means that you need to fix your API keys. But if you got green, that's good to go, and it'll take a second to show up in Alpaca, right? Okay, awesome. Any other questions, guys? Were you guys able to deploy as well? I know you got to set up a paid account for that, but if you guys want to run these things for real, it's actually a very good fee. It's $18 a month. They give you access to a bunch of things, and basically give you a credit towards the actual deployment itself. So you can deploy almost 2 different algorithms for that $18 a month. So it's actually quite cost effective. All right, all good. Cool, awesome. Okay, so now that we're done that, let's talk about next steps here. All right. So here are next steps. So next step, one thing you might want to do is run the diversified leverage algorithm. Again, this is one of my favorites. I have real money in it. It's been doing well for me. 30% a year. Can't go wrong with that, right? Keep in mind, there are risks involved in any of this stuff. So please keep that in mind if you choose to use real money. That's really up to you. And again, see that disclaimer at the beginning. But I do have real money in it, and I know a bunch of other people that do, and so far been quite good. There's also a strategy library. If you join one of our starter plan, pro plan, or all access plan, we have this whole huge library of different strategies they can go through. Again, in here we have 22 different strategies. If you join our classes, we actually have even more in Google Drive as well. So we have over 100 different strategies they could choose from, everything ranging from very low risk to things that have up to 1,000% of your returns in our back tests. CJ asks, how much did I start with in this diversified leverage strategy? I started, so we're at $4,600 right now. Subtract $1,100. So I started with $3,500 is what I started with in this account, and it grew to $4,600. Right, that's what's happened with my diversified leverage so far. Right, there are other strategies that have much higher performance than this. This is one this is one of our oldest algorithms. Actually, we made this like 2 years ago. We have a bunch of new ones that are very, very exciting that we're actually getting out right now. If you want to get those, again, this is all part of our strategy library. You can join all these things. Okay, so that's a strategy library. We have a bunch of different things in there. If you want to join any of our programs, we have 3 different programs available. We have our starter plan, which is a free trial, and then $49 a month afterwards. You're going to get some pretty basic algorithms with this, but you're going to get access to this workshop, its recording, and some other algorithms. You're going to get access to our trading signals, so you could actually look at how some of our strategies are performing, right? You could go through them and actually watch them and see what they're doing. We've had some that perform quite well. We have our Algo trading full course. If you want to go through that, we have a course on Python for finance, and then we have our basic strategy library that's available to you, right? That's free for 2 weeks, $49 a month afterwards, right? I have a question here. Do you have an algo that trades Forex? Not yet, CJ, although we plan to start getting into Forex very shortly. We built some like example stuff with Forex, but we haven't built any that we would write home about, right? It's nothing like spectacular yet, but we do have some really interesting strategies that we really want to use. So we will be building Forex strategies very shortly. We've, for the most part right now, focused on crypto, stocks, and options. And we plan to start building more strategies for futures and Forex shortly, right? We actually, and I guess that's a good segue here. There's a pro plan that you could join, right? There's a starter plan, which is free, and then $49 a month after a 2-week trial. Our pro plan is what most people sign up for, or is really kind of our flagship plan. This is the one where you get access to all of our cool stuff that's like really making a bunch of money and doing some crazy things. We have a session every Tuesday night. So for example, we did this last night, and we are constantly inventing new algorithms. We ran an algorithm last night. We got a kind of a crazy return. It was like 10,000% a year. It's ridiculous. I wouldn't think that that's going to happen for a long period of time, but that's the kind of thing that we do in these classes, right? We have these Tuesday night classes. You guys can join in and see what we're building, so you can learn about all the different strategies that we're making. You can learn about all the different ways that people are making money. And then if you have your own ideas, you want to bring it in, you could say, hey, well, why don't we try this? And why don't we try that? We build things live, right? So every week we're inventing a new algorithm and we're adding it to the library, and we're always updating and innovating new things. So every single week you come back to us, you sign up for one of our plans. We're always inventing new things. We're always creating new algorithms. And some of them are getting quite ridiculous in terms of their results. So that's our pro plan. You get access to those Tuesday night classes, which are awesome. You get access to all the recordings of that. You get all the code, and then you get access to our full strategy library. There's options algorithms, crypto algorithms, and stock algorithms in there. And you saw how easy it was to install. All I did was click one button, fill in those 2 keys, and that's it. That's all you have to do to run an algorithm. Super simple to run. You don't have to be a programmer or anything like that. Really, really easy. Or if you are a programmer, it's just super simple. You can get this up and running in like 30 seconds. Literally, you could time me as long as these, like the thing that takes the longest is the website takes a while to load. But the actual doing of it is quite simple. And basically you get access to all these different algorithms. Again, we have a range from basically, the very little amounts of risk all the way up to 1,000% a year. Some of our back tests are going. We're actually going to make a little web page showing off all this stuff soon, so you guys kind of get a better view of that. But if you want, I can kind of dig into the library and I could show you all the different things that we have. Yeah, Sarah, live Algo hour sounds amazing. I agree. It is amazing. When we started doing this, it's been almost a year now that we started our live Algo hour. It's been crazy. Like, I used to think that we built some cool algorithms, but like now, honestly, every week there's like 10, 15, 20 people that join. It's a close-knit community. We're going to expand this out pretty soon. But basically every week we join in, and we have some really smart people. People are really, really good traders. People are very, very good programmers. And we just all get together and build incredible algorithms every single week. It is really, really cool. I agree with you, Sarah. Definitely. All this innovative stuff. When people ask me about what we do as a business, I basically talk about this class, the Tuesday night class, because what it is, if you think about it, is these big hedge funds. There's a lot of hedge funds out there that do this kind of stuff, algo trading. They're quite profitable. Two Sigma does it. Renaissance makes a lot of money doing this. And there's a bunch of other ones, Millennium, there's huge 20, 30, 40, $100 billion hedge funds. They're all doing this kind of stuff, right? But when they do these things, what they do is basically just hire a bunch of smart people. They'll hire PhDs and close them off. And many of these hedge funds are not even allowed to put on LinkedIn that they work there because they're so afraid that people poach them or whatever. So it's really like this walled garden. It's like these really smart people, like 10, 20 of them in a room, and they're just constantly trying to come up with ideas, right? But the problem is that, okay, they're smart and they can build things, but there's a lack of ideas, right? Like, you can only have so many ideas in that kind of environment. What we're doing here is we're open sourcing the hedge fund model, right? So we're opening it up to not have 5 smart people, 10 smart people. We have hundreds of smart people working on this, thousands of smart people that are bringing in different ideas. What about this kind of strategy? What about that kind of strategy? This is how we're able to create so many unique and powerful strategies in a way that most hedge funds cannot compete with, right? So we actually have something very unique here in this, specifically this Tuesday night class, that I think is absolutely magical. All right, so that's our pro plan. If you want to join, it's $300 a month, and it's $1,000 sign-up fee. We're going to be increasing the sign-up fee shortly. So if you want to get this price, make sure you sign up soon, because this will soon be going up to $2,000 sign-up fee pretty soon. We're probably going to raise that in like a month or two. All right, so keep that in mind, that we are going to be raising our prices soon. So to answer a few more questions. So CJ asks, what's the minimum amount for the stock options algo? It depends on the algorithm. If you want to trade, for example, a Condor Martingale, it doesn't do day trading. So I think you could start. I created an account with like $5,000, and it worked fine for me. Actually, I think even $4,000 worked for me. But I think you can probably go maybe as low as $1,000 for the Condor Martingale. I think maybe, depending on your configuration too. Right, that Condor Martingale algorithm is actually 14 different algorithms, because you can configure them differently. Like, all these parameters can change. If you go into here, for example, our Condor Martingale algorithm, and let's say we go into configurations. Here's all of them. We have configuration 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 13. This is our latest one, configuration 14. And basically it has specific things like how much is it trading? What's the stop loss? Like, there's specific things that you change about each configuration. So it depends on which one you're using, and they'll kind of determine how much. But I think somewhere around $1,000 or $2,000 account would probably be the minimum to trade this one in particular, right? Okay. Sarah says, I would imagine the brightest members are incorporating genetic algorithms and advanced machine learning techniques. There are, yes, a lot of people are definitely doing that in our community. We have quite a few machine learning and AI developers. Funny thing is, actually, I have found much better results just talking to really good traders and just writing code with what they do, right? So take someone who's already doing a strategy that's working for them, take that, turn it into code, and then back test it and improve on it. I found that is the best way to come up with the best algorithms. We've had a lot of success doing that. It's really much more human. But I do really strongly believe in machine learning techniques and all that kind of stuff. And to date, I haven't seen too much like incredible things with it yet. Although I am very hopeful. I do think that we will crack that nut at some point. Especially, I think if we were to do it with Forex, or if we were to do it with futures, or if we were to do that with crypto, I think the machine learning algorithms would be very interesting. Cool. All right, and John says, got it. Thank you. Awesome. Good job, John. Great. Okay. Perfect. I'm glad you got that set up.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so we talked about our starter plan, free trial, $49 a month. Pro plan, $1,000 sign up fee, $399 a month. This is what gets you really all the cool stuff. You want all of our best algorithms. This is the one that's going to get you that. It's our pro plan. Again, we're raising our prices sometime very soon. Then we have our all access plan. This is for people that really want to go the extra mile, right? So if you want us to help set things up for you, you want us to code for you, you want to get access to all of our courses, you want to have that white glove type service, this is the all access plan, and that's what is going to work for you, right? This one is $799 a month and a $1,500 sign up fee. Again, that's going up soon. And what you're going to get with this is everything from the starter and pro plan. You're going to get access to all of our courses. We have courses on algo trading, on options trading, on AI for trading. We have a crypto trading class. We have a blockchain development class. So you get access to all of those. You also get one-on-one support to basically help you out with all the stuff. So like, again, it's that white glove service. If you want someone to set this up for you, basically make sure that, all your algorithms are running, help you monitor that, help you set it all up. But then also if you want to modify things, right? So for example, we had someone go through our all access plan recently who was from Australia, and he wanted to get an algorithm working in Australia, right? So we actually spent a bunch of time, and now everyone can really get it from Australia because we've done that work. But that was custom work that he wanted to get done. Other people have come through and they have a specific algorithm that they've been working on. They have a strategy and they're like, help me build this thing, help me set it up. We'll actually spend the time with you to build that up, right? So that's what this all access plan is all about. It's a lot of coaching, a lot of one-on-one support, and we will help you actually set up these algorithms and run them for you. All right. Okay. So that's our all access plan, our starter plan, and our pro plan. All right. Cool. Again, prices are going up soon. So if you guys want to purchase them, just check out our website, lumiwealth.com. And it's right up on our homepage. We just update our homepage, so it makes it a little easier. You can go see plans, and here are those plans across the board, right? And let's say you want to sign up for our pro plan, which is most popular, right? As the name suggests, or the sticker suggests, you can click on learn more and you can actually go through and do that. All right. And there we go. This is a brand new page we made. This actually looks pretty nice. It's a gold star to our designers. Okay. There's a question here. What's the minimum I'll need to pay for a $49 a month plan to start with? It depends on the algorithm. Every algorithm is different. So if I think probably the one that we're doing today, the custom ETF, you could start with like $300-400, something like that. You saw that, right? Our diversified leverage, I think you probably need like $500 or $600 to do it. With Alpaca, you buy fractional shares, so you could actually have it quite a low amount there. I'd say probably around $400 or $500 is kind of the minimum amount for some of these things. There are some crypto algorithms that actually, I take that back. There are some crypto algorithms that you could do like $100, and you could start with a pretty small account that way, right? So say $100 to $500 is kind of the minimum. If you want to do our like crazy option algorithm stuff, the ones that have like really intense returns of like up to 1,000% kind of thing, that you'll probably need like a $2,000 or $3,000 account at least, right? Okay, cool. All right. Any questions, guys?
Yeah.
Hope you guys all got some value out of that. You got some algorithms running for you. You've seen a little bit of what we're up to. Let me know if you have any other questions. If you do have questions after this, by the way, maybe you can't think of them right now. If you go to our website, we have this little thing at the bottom, our intercom, and click on that. This is a way that you can get a response quite quickly. We have a bunch of people listening to this. So if you have any questions, this is probably the best way to do that. You could also send me an email, although I am not the fastest with email, I'll tell you that much. But if you do want to reach me personally, it's rob@lumiwealth.com. And then Philip, you actually said the perfect word there. Catch me on Discord. This is where I'm most active. If you go through our starter plan, there's a getting started page that shows you how to get onto this Discord. This is where I'm most active. And this is where our whole community is active. So if you have any questions or whatever, this is a great place to ask those questions. All right. Cool. Awesome. Any other questions, comments, thoughts? You guys have been great, by the way. This has been really fun. You guys all have been very interactive and all that. So I enjoyed your company very much. Cool. Awesome. No problem, Stephen. Okay, cool. Well, again, if you guys have some questions, feel free to click on the intercom, see our website. We have a bunch of stuff on there. Our Discord is very active. So we have a lot of people in there if you want to ask questions or ask people what they've done and all that. Actually, if you join our Discord, there is one thing I want to show you. This live algo building sessions channel, this is where we're posting some of our newest stuff. So here, for example, this is an algorithm that I thought was really interesting. Super low risk, or I don't want to say too much out of place, but max drawdown of 15%. The stock market at the same time did a drawdown of around 30 something percent. So much, historically speaking, much safer than the stock market, and doing 43% a year. That's pretty damn good, depending on what you want to do. We actually juiced this one up. I actually got this thing to do over 100% a year. You just make it take more risk, right? Here's another one, very stable returns. You could see basically like a straight line going up, 54% a year, low max drawdown. Historically, we've done other crazy ones, 110% a year, right? If you go to this channel, you see kind of all the stuff that we're up to, live algo building sessions. This is a channel devoted to that Tuesday class that I told you about. So if you kind of want to see what we're doing there, this is a Discord channel that kind of brings you up to date with all that, right? So 400%, 15% max drawdown is pretty crazy. So yeah, a lot of really cool stuff in here. So if you join our Discord, you can see kind of what we're up to on a more real-time basis, right? Okay, cool. Either way, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, guys. It was great to have you here, and I hope you have a good night. And thank you very much again. Go back to work, but count on me, future team members. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, guys. All right. Have a good night. Cheers. Enjoy your new algorithm.